Alrighty, so today I want to chat with you guys about why I think it's important as photographers, business owners, creatives, whatever you're doing. I think that it's super important, one, that you keep updated photos in general of yourself, but to also just to make sure that you are changing those photos seasonally. So when I started my business back in, well, I technically became a legal business in 2017, but I began posting about my business, like the idea of a business, in 2016. And what I realized quickly was that people who were following me, they enjoyed seeing updated photos. And I would try to think of like creative photos. Not that I was like necessarily like a blogger by any means, but I definitely got a lot of great feedback keeping my photos updated on my Instagram before my business started. And then when my business did start and I launched a website, I could tell that I got a lot of really great response on my Instagram, on my social media, when I would share new images of myself in a professional setting. I planned in the beginning to really only update my headshot like once a year. And to some extent I still do that. So that's a little bit different. I'm gonna explain the difference between like your typical headshot and then these kind of seasonal photos. So in the beginning, that was all my plan was. I thought I would do that, and then as life came along, I would take pictures of life, me doing things, me with family, but I really wouldn't plan that much. I really wouldn't think much about it. And I quickly realized that I needed photos to post because I wanted people to recognize me. That's a whole different story about making sure that your face is on your Instagram and your face is on your website, but I wanted people to know who I was, and I realized that I needed to have good photos posting frequently. And so I went from this mentality of just like, okay, I'll get a headshot once a year, to I need to think about taking pictures in a seasonal setting. I do try to update my headshot of myself every year. That headshot is the image that I put in my bio on my website. Like I said, this is a whole other topic about picking that image and doing all of that. But I select that, try to do that every year. This year I'm pregnant, and so I don't think I'm going to update it because there are parts of me that do not look the same as they normally would. So you might not be able to tell how I'm sitting right now, but I definitely don't look the exact same. So what I realized was, in addition to those that main headshot image that's gonna be kind of everywhere, that kind of is like, people see that and they know that it's me. It has the same photo on all of my different platforms. Separate from that, I realized I needed to take and have photos of myself that I could be consistently posting that were like current, that were in the time. And so that's not even what I meant to say, in current time. And so I realized I needed to be taking kind of more like seasonal photos. And at first, I'll be honest, this was really easy to do. So at the time when I first got started with my business, I was in college. We had just gotten married. He was starting one of his busiest years of school. If I just told him ahead of time, like, hey, like, can we just do a shoot here or a session here, like updating my pictures, it wasn't that difficult because we didn't have a lot of commitments. Now things are a little bit different. It is still important for me to plan these photo shoots that I have seasonal content. So, that can look like a lot of different things for you. It can look like you try to take and plan a whole bunch of outfits. And a whole bunch might even only be like 3 or 4 outfits, and you go and do some different, a mini kind of photo shoot with a friend if your spouse is not able to take those pictures, or maybe you can kind of do a swap with another photographer. I did that in the very beginning, and you can just get like kind of almost like preload and get a lot of images for that. In the beginning, that's what I did. It seemed to work the best, was just kind of bring a whole bunch of outfits and have that and do that multiple times. And since life has gotten a little bit crazier, it is sometimes harder for me to plan just to go out and to just take photos for myself and for my blog. I try to do that, but it just seems like if I'm going to be shooting pictures, it'll probably be a session. And if I'm not doing that, then I'll probably be with my family. So I don't really want to take a whole evening just for myself. And I've had to watch that because I know how important these images are. So what I do now is kind of like a combo of just kind of like randomly like hoping I get good pictures and like preloading everything. I try to know of times during that season, specifically at the beginning of the season, when I'll be dressed up and get a few images, get a few outfits that I can use for those. For the summer, I try to normally do that in like early June. For the fall, I'm normally really good about the fall because I'm like normally super excited to start wearing like layers and everything. So I normally try to get those photos in early September, and then I do something around Christmas. I do the Christmas photos normally the same time that I do some like Thanksgiving-y type of images for myself. And then I normally will do like some winter photos in January or whenever the first snow is. If you have snow where you're at, I would definitely try to plan that around that. Obviously, if you live in Florida, things look a little bit different, but here in Illinois, sometimes we can get a lot of snow. Last year or 2 years ago, we had like 8 inches of snow in November. And so I took advantage of that. And so I had some winter photos ready. And then spring is always a little like spacey around here. You never really know when you're going to get images because spring's a hit or miss, I think. Some years we have really great blooms and you can't really preload spring. You can't really fake spring. If it's not blooming, it's not spring. So that one gets a little bit difficult, more difficult than the rest. But what I try to do is I try to plan to get those images in the beginning of those seasons, and then I kind of try to plan another, like if I'm gonna go to an event or something that I know I'm gonna be dressed up for, I try to like pencil in, hey, make sure you get a photo for your blog, whatever. That's what seems to work best for me because I know that I'm not going to take several hours to go off and go to all these different locations anymore just because of how life is working right now. But that way definitely I think works the best because you just get it done. It's like batch working. You just get it done and then it's done for the rest of the season. But because right now that doesn't work for me, I prefer to do like I plan a little bit in the beginning so I can get something, maybe one morning, maybe one Saturday morning I'll have open. So I'll just do a few outfits, be like 1 or 2 outfits, and then I'll plan for a few events I know I'll get dressed up for, and then I'll just ask Hayden, hey, can you make sure that you get a photo or 2 beforehand? That seems to be working right now. So you might be saying, what is even the point of this? Why do I even need to do this? Is it really that useful? Is it really that helpful? Well, I will say for myself, I see a lot of engagement from these posts. So I do share images from previous years. So if you go back, if you look on my Instagram now, you might see an image that I shared last summer that I took during my summer shoot. Or when fall comes up, you might see an image I took a year ago or 2 years ago. And that helps me. That gives me content that I can use every year. I try to share more new content than reusing old content. And it's great to have old images that I've taken on those kind of like fill up days where I take all those images for the season. It's great to have those as filler content if I need it. But I know that I'm probably gonna get better engagement. Most likely, I'll get better engagement on a newer picture, a newer post that I've just created rather than recycling old content. I try to be selective on how often I bring back old images, but what I found is people like seeing high-res images of you in that season. So I try to be, that doesn't mean that you're not being authentic or not being smart about, like not being authentic or not being genuine. That's not what that means at all. The images that I plan, I think about what I'm going to be doing and what kind of content I'll want to be sharing. And I try to combine planned photo shoots with in the moment images and my portfolio. So that's how my kind of thinking of this goes. But I try to plan these images that I'm gonna take on this big photo shoot day or these planned occasions. And I think, hey, in the month of October, am I gonna talk about blogging at all? Okay, I probably am. So when I do my planned photo shoot day, I probably should take a picture with my laptop so that way I have an image. That's not being unauthentic. That's just being planned out and thinking ahead of things. So I would definitely suggest that. Try to plan these images, that way I have them. Also, it really helps me to have images to use as filler on my blog. A lot of times I just need a cover photo to fill in a topic on my blog, and I don't really need to post it or really anything on social media. I just need something to go across the top banner. And so I will use these images that maybe I'll post about later on Instagram, or maybe I even won't. I'll just use it as those kind of images, and then I just have it. Because sometimes I think of a random blog idea in the middle of the night and I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have any new photos that I could use with that. And I don't want to keep reusing old stuff and then it doesn't seem new and fresh. So I do that. I use those kind of filler images. And I think that these seasonal photo shoots help you seem to your consumer and to your followers that you're on top of what's going on, and you want to be in front of the camera, and you want to be talking to them, and you want to be connecting with them, and you're dedicated to that, and they get to see your life. And I've really found a lot of great engagement with that. I've seen when I post newer images, I've seen that my Instagram comments and likes will go up. Rather, if I just post something that I posted, like I reposted or reshared a normal headshot, I see a lot better engagement on that. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully this has sold you that it's a really good idea, and I hope that you'll take a look at it. If you're getting ready to start a new season, we're actually here right now when I'm posting this video, we're getting ready to enter into fall. So I know that I need to be planning when I'm gonna get these images taken. So that's what I do. I try to kind of plan things out, and I kind of keep things in mind. And I'm excited to see and hear what you're gonna do to engage your community better through your seasonal images, because I'm telling you that it works and that it's really impactful. So anyways, that's it for today. Thanks guys. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel so that way you can see the latest and greatest videos that I post. I'm not sure on the greatest part, but you'll see the latest videos. And don't forget to comment below if you have any video suggestions. I love hearing from all of you guys. Thanks.